It's time for a draft.
Hold on for a second. Putting on my draft.
Put on your GM cap.
Yeah, I'm putting on my GM cap right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we've got me. We got Jay. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do. And so this is it. When you draft them, you got to tell me where you're putting them, what position you're. So we're gonna go point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and then 2 bench. So we got 2, but we're going 7 deep this time.
Yes, sir.
It's players. I'll recap who the players are. Listen, we're not here to debate the order, but like I said, I am going to ask you 2 quick questions. All right, so let me just run through the list in order from 1 to 25. We got Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Oscar Robertson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dr. J, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, Steph Curry, Dirk Nowitzki, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Kevin Garnett, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, David Robinson. Damn, that's a list. Okay, so here's my question. I got into it a little bit because I have Wilt over Bill. Mm-hmm. This list has Wilt over Bill.
I do too.
And someone at TikTok was like, how could you possibly have Wilt Chamberlain over Bill Russell? And I said, well, I'm not taking away team accolades because you don't do that. I'm not taking away rings and chips, but I'm saying, however, if you looked at who's the better individual player, Wilt Chamberlain does way more on offense. Let me think of the way that I said the difference in offense between Bill and Wilt is bigger than the difference in defense between Bill and Wilt. So overall, I said Wilt's a better player.
I'm a better offensive player than you are defensive.
Right.
I can get with that, yeah.
And then someone said, well, that season when he scored 50 and whatever, million rebounds and all that, well, that's only because he played 48 minutes a game. So I started to do it myself, and then I found a nice video on YouTube that did it for me. They took all the best players, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, the best seasons, Harden, Steph, all their best seasons, Giannis. And what they did was they took their points, rebounds, all their stuff, and they said, if we broke that down, 30 points a game, broke it down by minute, and said, okay, let's say he played 48 minutes a game. Mm-hmm. It totally explains how what Wilt did was actually possible. Now, could all of those players have played every minute of every game, except for one that he got thrown out of? Probably not. But if they did, and they stayed consistent, which, can you be consistent? Like Jordan played, I think, 38 minutes a game as an example. Same with LeBron. Could they do that for an extra 10 minutes? I don't know the answer. But if they did, this is what they would do. And they were no one still got the same results as Wilt, which just shows how great that season was. But it explains, like, if they did play 48 minutes, right, they would have averaged, it was like 45, 47, 42. So it's not crazy to think a guy who played every minute of every game could score 50 points a game and get 28 rebounds, whatever it was.
But think about what you just said, Tom.
Yeah.
It's not crazy to think that, only except somebody actually did it.
Did it, right.
Right.
It's easy on paper.
Right. Somebody actually did that. Yeah. So it's not a situation where we're going, well, if you could play every minute of this game, or you could, well, actually I actually did that. So, well, if I played every minute, I'm 100% confident that Jordan, if he wanted to play every minute of every game, he could have said to Doug Collins, don't take me out. And Doug Collins would have kept him in every minute. Kevin Lockery would have kept him in every minute. If James wanted to play every minute for Mike Brown when he was in Cleveland, Mike Brown played every minute. Yeah. He would not have taken. If he would have went to Mike Brown and said, "Do not take me out," he would play every minute. So I'm not listening to the logic of, well, if I could have done this, well, I actually did it. So
the logic isn't if they. The logic was if they did. Right. The numbers are feasible. It's not crazy to think because
it's not real. It's not.
So somebody did it. Yeah, somebody did. Okay.
It's not ridiculous.
So we agree on the Wilt over Bill thing. Mm-hmm. The other one is Oscar at 9. And it's not about really who he's over, just Oscar at 9. Everybody had a real problem. And again, we're not here to debate this, although, like I said, I do want to ask you a question. Oscar at 9 seems high to everybody, but let me ask you this, because the comparison will always come up with Russ. Right? Because the triple doubles. What did Oscar average? I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but I know typically you do. What did Oscar average for his career?
Oscar averaged 25 for his career. But
not just 25.
Yeah. He averaged 25. I think Oscar went 25, 10 and 8, something like that.
25.7 points, 9.5 assists, 7.5 rebounds. So yeah, 26, 10 and 8.
Right, 26, 10
pretty
and 8.
much, yeah.
But don't leave out, Tone, that's for his entire career. Don't
Right.
leave out that for an 8-year stretch, he went 30, 10, and 9. Don't leave that out.
30, 11. There was a stretch where he went 31, 11, and 9.
For 8 years, from 61 to 68, he went 30, 10, and 9. On a Tuesday, pencil me in for 30, 10, and 9. On a Tuesday.
In 62, he went for 31, 11, and 13. So if a guy went 26, 10, and 8 today and had a chip, is he not top 10?
Not top 10 all time. I don't know if he's top 10 all time, but we having that conversation. We absolutely are. If we got a guy that's in the NBA today that is at the end of his career and he's averaging 27 or
let's go peak. No, let's go peak. Let's say
okay, so
30, 10, and 10.
He's in his peak and he's 30, 10, and 9. Is he a top 10 player all time? I think that there are people who are having that conversation.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those people who are having that conversation because I like you. I know how you feel about guys. Yeah, I know how you feel about guys not being, the guys are still playing. I care about longevity. Yeah. That matters to me. So the fact that you're good for a short period of time, that doesn't work for me. That's why I have a difficult time with Giannis being a top 20 player all time. That's exactly
right. I think they have him at 18. So how opposed are you to Oscar at 9?
Well, my main issue with Oscar at 9 is, well, damn, Tone, I had him. ESPN did a list in 2016 of the top 100 players. They had him at 13. I'd like to know what he did in the last 6 years to go from 13 to 9. I mean, he's been retired for over 30 years. So what did he do in the last 6 years to go from 13 to 9? I don't think he did much.
Maybe someone's been campaigning. Someone's been campaigning.
Maybe that's also true too, Tone. And what I'd also like to do, I want to dead this Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robertson thing. Let's make sure that we're clear, Tone. 30, 10, and 9 for 8 straight years. He was more efficient than Russ. Not only was he more efficient than Russ, he was smarter than Russ. He played a different game than Russ did. He wasn't just a barrel like Russ is and just went at one speed. Oscar was so much more efficient. He was a better distributor. He was a better playmaker. I think he was a better scorer. He averaged 30 a game for almost a decade. There aren't many point guards who can say that they did that, right? He averaged 10 rebounds. 10 assists over almost a decade. There aren't many point guards who can say that they've done that. Double digits for almost a decade. So when I think
how many point guards can say that?
Well, let's see. Magic could say it.
Stockton
could say it for their career.
For their career.
For over a decade, I averaged double digit assists. Magic could say it. Stockton could say it. Chris Paul can say it almost. Steve Nash, but he's close. But none of these dudes can say that they've done it for almost a decade. None of these dudes, except for Stockton and Magic. Now, when I think about the rest of these guys, I just want to dead the logic that Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson, the triple-double is comparable. But after that, Oscar Robertson was a better player than Russell Westbrook. All the way around. He was a better player. He was smarter. He was more efficient. He was a better defender. He was a better overall player than Russell Westbrook, which would explain why he's regarded the way he is. So I want to dead that logic. The only thing that you guys are comparing is him averaging a triple-double.
It's the numbers. It's the numbers. It's not how they got there. And here is the big difference, right? Why is everybody knocking Westbrook? Because it doesn't equal wins. Well, Oscar won. Right. Oscar also won, right?
Yes,
like are we talking differently about Wes if he won? If Westbrook, if he has a ring, right?
Right.
Not now, but like if he had won with KD, if he had won with, because the equivalent is winning with Chris Paul, I want to say, right? With one, because he won with Kareem, right? So it's with one great player, not KD and James Harden and all those other guys. Okay. For the record, by the way, Magic at 11 and change, Stockton at 10 and a half, and that's it at double digits, because then it's Oscar at 9.5, Chris Paul at 9.49, and then it gets into the low nines. 3 guys Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Johnson, John Wall, and then it's everybody else is under 9.
Well,
So
I think Isaiah went 19-9 for almost a decade. So you got guys who've done that. Isaiah did it for almost a decade.
Yeah.
But when I think about the rest of these guys,
it's short. It's a short list. It's a short list. Okay. So I wanted to bring those two up. So I guess the last part of that. So Oscar, you're not crazy object to him at 9, but you probably would have him where
I got him at 13.
Yeah,
I got him at 13 behind Bryant and Jerry West.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right, so let's kick off the draft. You, sir, have won the draft lottery. You will be going first with your first selection in the top 25 of all time NBA draft. Can I just write him in?
I stand on it, Tone, that if Hakeem Olajuwon is on the board and you pass on him, you're fired. I stand on that. To this day, I still stand on that. However, it depends on who's on the board. It depends on who's on the board. So with the number 1 overall pick, I'm building my unit. All right. I'm not just going off players. I'm building my unit. I'm starting with Jabbar at the 5.
Wow.
Starting with Jabbar at the 5.
Yes,
sir. Starting with Jabbar at the 5.
That is a surprise. I think you're still but I think you're smart. You're smart because you know who I'm going with, and you know you're gonna get your guy. I should pick him just to be difficult, but then you're gonna pick my guy, and then
that's fine.
No, you know what? With my first overall pick, I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan. Get out of here. Come on.
Got you guys. Got you.
If Jordan's on board, I'm taking Jordan.
Got you guys.
I don't want to be Portland and pass up on Jordan. No, hell no.
Got you guys. So Jabbar's off the board, right? Jabbar's off the board. Jordan's off the board. Let's see here. I'm gonna go with James.
Duh.
I'm gonna go with James.
If you would have picked anybody else but James, I would have been very, very, very surprised. Well, you know the team that I've always wanted to put together. I actually even have Jordan in a Lakers jersey. I don't know how they were going to get him there, but I'm going to go with Magic. That's my backcourt. Magic and Jordan is my backcourt.
I'm going to go with Magic, right? And I'm going to go with James. Well, at the 2 guard, I'm going to go with Bryant.
That's a smart pick right there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you got Kareem. And although I do have Kareem ranked higher, I still think this guy does more. And listen, if you can have a mythological person on your team, right? I got Black Jesus. Now I need Zeus. So I'm going to go with Wilt at my 5.
So I need a point guard now because you already took Magic. So I need a point guard. And I need a distributor because I got a bunch of guys. I got Jabbar, I got James, I got Bryant. So I need a guy who's going to distribute the basketball. With the number 5 pick, I'm going to go with Mr. John Stockton.
Stockton at the point. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to go with clearly the greatest pure small forward in the history of basketball. Could shoot from everywhere. Could rebound. Underrated defender. I feel like could you imagine if I had my dream team with Wilt at center in his prime? So I'm gonna go with Mr. Larry Bird.
Bird at the house. Okay. So I got my point guard in Stock, right? I got my 2 guard in Bryant. I got my small forward in James. I got my 5 man in Jabbar, right? So I need somebody that's going to do the dirty work, but can also stick his nose in there, go get the basketball and his buckets. I'm going to go with Malone.
You got Stockton and Malone. You reunited them.
Yes, sir.
Well, Malone is solid. Him and Stockton have a chemistry. So there's a player who, how do you stop that chemistry, right? You need to have defense. And if someone could be like, I don't know, all defensive team like 15 times in their career, right, is fundamentally sound, like a big fundamental, I guess, is what I would call it. Oh yeah, that's what I'm picking. Tim Duncan.
Big fundamental. Okay.
Big fundamental.
So I need some reinforcement, Tone.
So now you need a guy on the bench. Who you got?
I need some reinforcement, right? So I need somebody that's going to come in because I'm looking at my 5 and I got Stockton at the 1. I got my distributor, right? I got my lockdown defender and buckets at the 2 guard in Bryant, right? I got my all around player in James, right? I got my meat and potatoes guy in Malone, and then I got the most dominant big on the box in Jabbar. All right, so how am I going to reinforce this? What am I going to reinforce this with? So Jabbar can't play the whole game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to counter Chamberlain, and I'm going to go get the diesel. I got you. I'm going to go get the diesel. That's what I'm going to do.
Shaq coming off the bench.
I'm going to get the diesel.
See, I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction because my team can do everything, right? I got Magic who can run the point. He can also post up. Heck, Magic can play center if I really need him to in a pinch.
If you need him.
I got Jordan who, don't forget, Jordan played the point. Got a bunch of triple doubles, average over 8 assists a game. He can move into that point position if I need him to. I got Bird who can shoot, but you know what? I'm like, hey, man, when I got Wilt down low, if I put Bird on one wing and this guy on the other wing, I feel like I can open up some spacing for him. And of all the guys, I want to look at this dude's definitely the quickest of the bunch. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry. To open up the floor for me. Him and Bird shooting. Magic, just imagine Magic penetrating and kicking it out to Bird or Curry on the wings.
Just the floor a little bit. So I'm glad you mentioned that also. We talked about opening up the floor and speeding the game up a little bit, right? Because you already got Duncan off the floor. You got your dynamic, fast-paced magician in Magic. Okay, I can definitely appreciate that. But I need some buckets coming off the bench too, because I got dominance in the diesel, right? But I also need some buckets coming off the bench too. So who better to give me that than KD?
I thought you were going to go in a different direction because I was going to try and reunite Steph and KD. That was my goal. I was like, the reason I was talking so long with the last pick, I wasn't sure if I was going to go Curry or Durant. Maybe I should have gone Durant. I don't know if you would have gone with Curry, but that's okay. That's okay. Because now I got everything. Here's the beauty of it is, you brought in Shaq as reinforcement. I got Wilt who can play all 48. Heck, I can move Duncan to the center if I had to. So really right now, the world is my oyster. So who's left? We got Oscar, we got Hakeem, we've got Moses Malone, we got Giannis, West, Baylor. Like there's so many players to choose from. I'm simply going to go with who gives me. I want to sell tickets. I want to sell tickets to this game. I've got everything. So I'm not saying this player's better than Olajuwon, because I definitely pick Olajuwon, but I just feel like, could you imagine Magic throwing it up and Dr. J jumping in from behind the backboard? Right, we don't give Dr. J enough love, so I'm gonna go with Dr. J and just get the crowd into it as my final guy off the bench. Right. So let's because again, I would have gone Olajuwon, but Wilt can play all 48. We just talked about it and dropped 50. So here, let's go through the lineups. And then, of course, as always, top 25 of all time, as ranked by ESPN. We drafted our teams. Here's mine. I'll give you Jay's. You vote and let us know who you got. So on my list, I'm starting at the point with Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan at the 2, Larry Bird at the 3, Tim Duncan at the 4, Wilt Chamberlain at the 5, and off the bench, I got Steph Curry and Dr. J.
Nice.
Jay's team. Stockton at the point. Bryant at the 2. That's Kobe. LeBron James at the 3. Karl Malone, not Moses. I probably would have picked Moses. Karl Malone at the 4, excuse me. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the 5. And man, your bench is big. Shaq and Kevin Durant coming off the bench. Whew. All right, so let us know who you got. Right now, just so you know, I don't want to sway anybody, but in the first 2 drafts, it was 51 to 49% in the poll who won. So let's see if we're close on this one. I think we're going to be close because how can you go wrong with top 25 of all time? All right. Whew, I love these drafts. I don't know if I said
Awesome.
it before. I love these drafts. All right.